Paul says, hey, Bradley, for a tier 3 link, would it be better to have something like a trust flow 10 with perfect topical category, or a trust flow 30 with a more broad topical category? Are links always the best category regardless of what tier the link is being used? No, great question, Paul. That's a fantastic question. But no, that's not how I do it. At tier 3, you can go much broader as long as it's related by 3 degrees of separation, right? Like, in other words, like all of my link building that I do, we identify what the most appropriate topical trust flow category or categories are for tier 1. And that's what we try to build all of our tier 1 links in the most appropriate topical trust flow category or categories. Sometimes there's more than one. And then at tier 2, we can go broader. So for example, in Majestic, you understand, like, let's just use business as an example. Business has, and here, I'll pull this up. Yeah, we've got time. So I'm just going to pull up this. This is like an old diagram for whatever reason but I use this to kind of look at topical trust flow categories in Majestic. So this is business here. Okay. So business is the broad category. It's the top level, right? So there's business, there's society, arts, computers, reference. Those are all top level categories. So the inner rings here. Okay. But then there's all the subcategories, the more specific categories within the business top level category, right? So financial services, arts and entertainment, marketing and advertising, consumer goods and services, construction and maintenance. That's one that I use a lot for contractor stuff, right? So business/construction and maintenance. Okay. So what I'm saying is that let's just use, like, for a tree service site, for example. At tier 1, we are going to build links from business, construction and maintenance, or business, agriculture and forestry, or from home/gardening, right? So those are like the 3, and then to a lesser degree, there's science/agriculture, which is in here. That's more appropriate at tier 2. So what I'm saying is we have basically 3 main categories that we will build, our topical trust flow categories that we will build links at tier 1. So those are linking directly to the money site and the Google Business website and the Google Map. Okay. So again, business, agriculture and forestry, business, construction and maintenance, and in home/gardening. Those are the 3 most appropriate topical trust flow categories for tier 1 links for a tree service contractor. But at tier 2, we can go broader, right? So we could go to we could go to general business. So anything in the business category. Sometimes there's more specific subcategories that wouldn't make sense. But, like, for example, business real estate. Is that relevant to a tree service contractor? Of course it is, because maybe not directly at tier 1, but at tier 2 it is, because obviously, like, people that own real estate, whether it's commercial or residential real estate, are going to need tree services generally at some point, right? So it does make sense. It's a relevant category. I will use the broad, just business category sometimes. Some of them, like business healthcare, that there's a subcategory. It's probably a much smaller slice, but right there, I just passed it. Right there is healthcare. Shit, it's hard to. Right there is healthcare. That is a subcategory that I probably wouldn't use even at tier 2, right? Because it's not really relevant. But the general business domains, if I can find domains, which you can, that are just in the general category, not one of the more specific subcategories, that would still be relevant at tier 2. As I said, science/agriculture would be relevant and even science/environment would be relevant at tier 2. Okay, does that make sense? Then at tier 3, like, here's regional, right? These are regional links or topical trust flow category here. And you'll see, for example, there's North America. Well, I could use that at tier 3, right? If for US based or Canada based, Canadian based tree service contractors, it would make sense. There's one in here for Oceania, which would be like Australia, right? So, like, there's one for Europe. So if you're in the UK, you're doing stuff in the UK. Those are all, like, relevant links at tier 3. So to get back to your question, if you can get both, and I lost the page. I think this is it. If you can get both a trust flow 10 in the most appropriate topical trust flow category, use that for tier 1 to link directly to the money site. And then if you can get a trust flow 30 that is in a related category, just use logic, right? I mean, seriously, like, it's as simple as that. Is there some sort of way that is relatable to where it makes sense? And then how relatable is it? The broader it is, so the less relatable it is, the less relevant it is, the further out in tiers is where you should use that. So at tier 3, you can be quite broad, and that's not an issue at all. Okay. That was a great question, though. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. But I do everything in funnels like that, right? So at top of funnel would be like tier 3 links. And so they can be the broadest. And as you get closer towards the bottom of the funnel, they should be narrower and more relevant, right? So the closer you get to tier 0, the more relevant the link should be, if that makes sense. That was a great question.